up on your screen there. Um, for those of you on the call, if you are not speaking, if you would be so kind as to mute your microphones as you're coming on, because we are expecting a very large crowd in this virtual space. We still haven't figured out all the things after being 2 years into all this virtual space and things of that nature. We're still working through some of the wrinkles, if you will. So again, my name is Pamela Fountain Brown. I am with Turner Construction. We are pleased and excited to have you on today's call to talk about a project with our Turner Clayco joint venture in Urbana, Champaign. You have to bear with us. We are super excited to talk about it. There are a number of projects that are coming up on the horizon, and we just wanted to have this meeting really to put it out there to, number one, let you know we got the job. Some of you may have logged on to a intimate conversation that Sandra Marks and I hosted back in November, October of last year. But we now are here today because we've now been awarded the work. We're excited to reach out to you, to have you reach out to us so that we can start setting the stage to learn more about who you are and how you work. Zola, if you can move to the next screen. And while she's doing that, if I could have my folks who are from the Turner Clayco team introduce yourselves really quickly, that would be great. And I'm just going to start calling names, right? Chris Hayes, I see you've joined me. You introduce yourself for me.
Hi, my name is Chris Hayes. I'm a project executive with Turner Construction, part of the Turner Clayco joint venture leadership team.
Great, thank you. I see Kelsey Ellis.
Hi, everyone. Kelsey Ellis. I am the procurement manager for Turner Chicago.
Thank you. I thought I saw Steve log on, but I think he might be in his car. So Steve, if you are in your car, you don't need to turn on your camera. But if you have the ability to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, that would be great.
I'm Steve Street with Turner Clayco. This will be the fourth project that the Turner Clayco team has done at the University of Illinois, and we're excited about this project and the opportunity of reaching out to the community.
Thank you, Steve. We also were joined by Patrick Jones. Patrick. And then last but not least, Zola Stewart. And you're going to be seeing a lot of Zola Stewart's name. She's actually the one who sent out all of the information about the outreach meeting. You'll see her name as she's setting up the one-on-ones. You'll see her name as we continue to go through this process of making certain that we're reaching out to all of your great companies. So again, we are excited to be here today to talk about this. We're excited for a number of different reasons. Number one, we're excited to be back on the campus of the University of Illinois. We've been there for a long time, and as Steve said, the Turner Clayco team has been down at that campus for a very, very long time. We are also excited because this project, or this set of projects, if you will, is using the P3 project delivery model. And Chris Hayes, can I put you on the spot for 2 seconds and just do a quick overview of what it means to have a P3 project at hand there?
Yeah, so a P3 project is a little bit different than the standard model that the Turner Clayco joint venture has been delivering on campus. In the past, we've been in the role as a construction manager. On this project, we've teamed up with a developer, Vermilion Campbell Development, and the whole gist of a P3 is that they are developing the property, building it to the university's standards, and then that project is leased back by the university for their use over a certain number of years. So the lessons learned that the teams have been doing on campus will certainly prove to be valuable because it'll be built for the university using their specifications and for what they need, but it's actually owned by a developer and leased back.
Thanks. I couldn't have paid you for a better overview of what a P3 actually is. Next slide, Zola. So many of you, if you've ever done work with the University of Illinois systems, you probably are familiar with what the goals have been before in the past. And typically, the goals have been slightly higher in the Chicago market than they have been downstate. But earlier this year, there was a shift, if you will, to there being a 30% goal of utilizing diverse businesses and working with the university system to make certain that we are doing our best to maximize participation in that diverse business space. So this is just giving you an idea of where we are and what those percentages actually are. Again, we're still very early on in the process with how we're doing this. So we are doing our due diligence to make certain that, number one, we're meeting companies who have an interest in doing work in the Champaign area. Number two, we're making certain that we are, getting them connected to the right resources so that they can be successful in working down on the campus. So we just wanted to point that out to you, that the goals have been raised since the last time that we were working with the university system. So Zola, next slide, please. So a couple different things. So we literally have planned out for the next few months virtual outreach meetings. Our team, is important to note that our team will actually be on the ground in June, actually meeting with some of the local stakeholders there to make certain that we are building a greater connection, if you will, between the university system and the surrounding communities. Working with the building trades to make certain that we are helping to promote the careers in the construction industry. So if you're in Chicago, there's a big, huge, much larger conversation about how we're getting people into the building trades and what resources we have lined up for them. So we'll be working with the building trades in the Champaign area to make certain that they have the resources and that we're putting boots on the ground to make certain that people know what those careers actually are. And then lastly, providing technical assistance to diverse businesses who are interested in getting connected to opportunities on all these upcoming projects. We know that every business is different, your needs are different, so we want to know what those are so that we can make certain that we're connecting you to the right resources and identifying what's out there to actually help you be better positioned for success, not only on this upcoming project, but on the projects to come. And so as you can see, today's our Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, great. This is what happens when you are in a remote location, right? Everything that could go wrong will. So if that is the case and you hear me not talking, which is unusual for me, someone should just hop in and just take over and just assume that I've been frozen. Okay, next slide, Zola. All right, great. So we talked about the goals for the project. This is a snapshot of the website that we have to let us know that you're trying to reach us and to let you know that we're trying to reach you. Zola actually does a really, really great job of setting up meetings to talk more with companies who are interested in learning more about our opportunities and that we're interested in learning more about you and what you do. So we definitely want to take advantage of the website to let us know that you're out there and you're trying to reach us. All right, next slide, Zola. All right, Chris, this is all you.
Sounds good. So the projects as a whole are called the skill projects. It's the South Campus projects. It's all within one street. So on 4th Street in Champaign, whether you're on Gregory or Pennsylvania or St. Mary's, you're going to run into one of these projects right around Assembly Hall, State Farm Center, and the football stadium. So they're very close in proximity to each other, and there's 3 jobs. The first one is a parking garage. That's the picture on the left with the brick. It's a rendering of the precast building with thin brick and metal panels and the curtain wall for the elevators and stair tower. The upper right photo is a massing diagram for the skill building. That's a business school nestled in between the old Huff Hall and the new business building that was built, within the last 10 years, right across from the Armory. And then the third building is the lower right. That's a rendering of a systems administration building, and the system includes the campuses of the University of Illinois in Chicago and Champaign and Springfield. So anybody who works for the system that supports all 3 of those campuses will be occupying that building. And I believe there's some specifics for each of the jobs on the next slides, but Zola, correct me if I'm wrong. So the business school building, that is set for construction in May of 2023. There's bid drawings coming out in March. We're working through pre-construction now, and that's about a 19-month schedule. It's 100,000 square feet, 4 stories. We are exploring some different options now for the type of structure, whether it's concrete or steel or a hybrid of the two, and maybe some alternates for mass timber. The architect is on the West Coast in Seattle, and that's about it for that project. The garage is actually the first project that's breaking ground, and that construction timeline is November. We are out to bid right now with the precast bid package. That's the first one, just due to the lead times. That value of that package is probably a third of the project. But it's a 4-story garage, precast with thin brick. There'll be a metal panel in between the brick as shown in the rendering. There's a couple options for photo PV panels on the roof of the garage to support the electrical needs of this building and adjacent buildings. Are there any questions from anybody about this project specifically? Okay, and then the final one is the systems building. This is the furthest south building. It's 3 stories, 60,000 square feet. And like I said, that'll house primarily office space for people who are supporting the system of the 3 campuses from Chicago to Springfield. We're still working through the massing diagrams. It may end up looking not so much like this. This is the first one we've seen. This is a rendering. We're still exploring some different options for both the type of structure and the type of cladding.
You went too fast. Okay, great. So Kelsey, did you want to hop in here and talk about pre-qualification, if you will?
Yeah, no problem. So our pre-qual process is only required for our first tier subcontractors. So if you are a second tier or a vendor, we don't require a pre-qual. So to access our pre-qual, you can go to www.com or .turnerconstruction.com, and then there's a small gray button up in the top called Becoming a Subcontractor. From there, it'll prompt you to complete a pre-qual or update your existing pre-qual if you already have one with us. And then if you have any questions for pre-quals, you can reach out to me and then or to Zola from the Community Citizenship team. Yeah.
Beautiful. Questions?
And then for everyone, this barcode right here is my contact information. So if anyone wants to schedule on my calendar or anything, you could just scan that and you can download all my information directly.
Cool. If you can, and it's safe for you to do so, please place your contact information in the chat bar. It helps us to connect the dots, like as we start to send out more information about the project, or if there are other questions that you may have. Again, we're recording this so we can make it available. I don't know if it's possible we can probably send the recording out. I believe we can send the recording out to make certain that you have the information and you have the right contact information going forward. Any questions, comments, or concerns? A hand raised. Beautiful. Karen?
I had sent a couple questions in regarding material storage. So we're a lighting supplier. Is there any understanding yet or understanding from past projects about if materials such as lighting supplies can be sent directly to the project, and if there'll be staff available to count, a receiving dock available to count product as it comes? I think the message I had sent to you previously, Zola, was about how it's a little bit more difficult for smaller suppliers to store product. So our warehouses tend to be a little bit smaller, and it's an added cost to us if we have to hold the materials for any length of time. Just wondering if you have any past experience that you can lend to what's going to be required for suppliers.
I can answer that in part, and maybe the group can supplement. But are you talking about one specific job, or all three kind of as a
I
whole?
would say start with the parking garage, because that's probably the one that's coming up the quickest and is the simplest to talk about in terms of material delivery to a job.
What I was going to say is it's probably easiest for any sort of accommodation like that to be in the buildings where it's actually enclosed. The garage presents a little bit of a challenge because there are a significant
security.
number of lights, but it is an unsecure area and it's open to the elements. For the reasons of security that they want to be able to see in the garage and see what's going on, it also presents that issue with it not really being an enclosed space. The way that I believe we would ideally buy it is that the lighting would go to an electrician's shop who might have more space for that, and they would be purchased through that electrician.
An electrical
and then
contractor.
They would get that participation through the vendor, but you wouldn't have to store it necessarily at your shop.
Okay, that also helps with deliveries, because oftentimes on jobs that have multiple floors, they want floor 1 this week, floor 2 next week, floor 3, and all those deliveries, especially come out of Chicago, would add a certain amount of cost. Whereas if the material went to an electrical contractor that was closer to the Champaign area, that reduced costs for delivery as well.
Yes, and then they can feed the job as needed.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions?
Kind of in line with the way that we're going to package the bid packages up. We can be as creative as we need to, just to keep it competitive and to get various means of participation. So if there's something that your firm does, but you can't necessarily do a whole package as it typically is bought on a job, just let us know, let our team know. We can maybe carve out a section of the work to get you involved in the job without having you have to take on an entire electrical system. Maybe you can do raceways for something, or lighting install for something, or fire alarm. We can package it up. It's early enough now where we can start penciling that in how we want to bid it out.
So Chris, you made a great point, because that is the job of the community and citizenship team to work with the project team and procurement, which is why it's really, really important to sign up for the one-on-one so we can know. So we'll have a better understanding of what your capabilities actually are, what your sweet spot actually is, so that we can, in some cases, kind of tailor the packages as to how we will procure them. That is another benefit of working with this P3 model, right? It gives us some flexibility, if you will. It gives us the ability to kind of widen our lens about how we're using diverse businesses and suppliers, and really thinking of other ways to actually do this. So when you talk about, supplies going directly to the electrician, who knows what they may look like. I've been on jobs in which we've tried to locate a diverse or minority-owned warehouse space near the job site where supplies go there, and then that's another way to actually create opportunities for the local community there. So I think there's a lot of different ways for us to get to that common goal, if you will. So that's a great point, in that we definitely want to make certain that we're meeting with you to better understand your core business, so that we can absolutely produce packages that kind of speak to the capabilities of the, number one, the interested vendors, and then the market in general. Right? Cool. That's it. Dr. Lee. It's different seeing you on a different call, but go ahead. You're on mute.
Pam, I like to follow your instructions. So, just curious. Hello, everybody. Joseph Lee with Cape Security. Just curious to know if there is a need for physical security during the construction of this project.
I don't know if that's necessarily been established yet based on our general conditions and our plan with the developer, but we can certainly look into it and get back with you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You do know it's in Champaign, right?
I do.
Okay, I won't tell our bosses that you ended up on the call about
That's
something in
okay.
Champaign, but nevertheless.
I appreciate that. There'll be some ribs coming to your door Tuesday. Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Comments?
This is Fred Reed with EC United out of Chicago. We're a technology organization. So in terms of the three jobs or the three projects, where are you with designing either smart buildings, intelligent buildings, or the use of technology for these projects? That would be our sweet spot.
I do believe that the designers have independently consulted with AV designers to meet the university's standards, but I'd be lying if I knew exactly where they were in that process. I know that some of your, do you supply and install technology such as AV, security?
I have muted. So yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that portion of the contract is held directly by each of the architects, and there's 3 different architects on 3 different projects. We would have to get the status of each of them on who they have contracted with, if anybody, at this point.
Thank you.
Cheyenne, I believe you had your hand up, and then I'll go to Cleo.
I think so. I'm with Who's Architecture. We provide construction lead administration services. I saw that there was a 30% professional services role, which typically bids out separately from construction. Can you tell me how to pursue that project if any of these are seeking leads?
For the lead tracking, I believe is going to be handled by the developer, but I don't know offhand. I'm amassing quite the list of information to get back to the group here.
You have a
Yeah,
number
but
of
yes,
fallbacks, Chris.
but each of the projects is intended to be lead.
So we can
and we'll
definitely
need to
make
be-
sure we connect you, Cheyenne, to the right people to get your question answered. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, Cleo.
Hi, everybody. My name's Cleo. I'm with Production Distribution. We're an electrical supplier. And I might have missed this, but my question is, what's the best way as a supplier? What's the best way for us to get involved with the various electrical contractors that are going to be bidding the project? Did you guys have a process on that? And I might have missed it early in the call.
You did. See, that's what you get for not logging on,
I'm
ahead of
sorry.
time. I'm just kidding. So what we've done on previous projects, Cleo, is that we keep a running list, which is again why it's important to have those one-on-one conversations with our team. We keep a running list of firms like yours and probably firms like Karen to show like here are all the folks who've expressed an interest in learning more about the project and sharing that list. We don't keep it secret or anything like that. We'll just share it amongst the folks who are actually looking at the job who would be utilizing your services to do it that way. So that's why it's important that you sign up for the one-on-ones, because then we have record of your interest, number one. And then number two, we have the ability to capture your information and really distribute it amongst the wider audience there.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Matthew had a hand up.
This is Matt Gierman with Empire Construction. We're a woman-owned minority contractor. I was wondering, is there a set description of the bid packages? Are the buildings going to be let one at a time? I was just wondering how the carpentry bid package will look. It will be like cold form, one bid package, drywall and framing, another bid package.
We're working through that right now with the garage as the first project that will be breaking ground in November. The rest of them will not bid until primarily March of next year. And between now and March, we'll be working through on how exactly that's separated out. That's why I mentioned before that if people have scopes of work that they can handle but don't want the full package, make that known. And I'll use your example. If you can do cold form framing and drywall, but don't do specialty ceilings, we would want to know that so that we don't lump them together, because one option would be to have all of the carpentry and rough carpentry and specialty ceilings and drywall all in the same package. We can be as creative as we need, and the good news is we've got some runway to develop that, to make it as competitive as possible and to allow as much participation as we can. But time-wise, the systems building and the skill building will be bidding roughly the same time next spring. The garage is the oddball that will be going a little bit earlier this year.
Okay, thank you.
Great. No other questions? Are there any other questions? Karen?
I must have missed how to sign up for a one-on-one. I was
So-
also 2 minutes late to the meeting. I'd confess.
Zola, did you want to put back your your QR code again? So Zola has a QR code in which you can
Okay, so
scan
we
it.
just contact Zola.
Yep.
Okay, I've got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Beautiful. Any other questions? And Karen, I'm just giving people a bunch of trash because I know them. That's all. And now that I know you, I'll give you trash on the next call. So there you go.
And then Pam, I'll send out a follow-up email to everyone, and I'll make sure my contact information is there and the link to the one-on-ones that they
Okay.
could schedule.
Okay, great. Beautiful. Any other questions? So we did plan for an hour here, but I'm always a fan of being able to yield back time in folks' days. I know we're all busy, so we actually want to thank you for logging on to the call. We of course, we aspire to stay connected with you throughout this entire process to make sure that we are checking in with folks and that we're not missing anyone who wants to learn more about the project and who wants to get connected to our team for these opportunities. Cool. Chris, any parting thoughts?
No,
Sounds
it's a great
project.
What'd you say, Cleo?
I said, it sounds like a great project.
I'm just kidding. No, we're excited about it.
No, it's a great turnout. I want to thank everybody for your time. For the questions that I fielded that I don't have an answer, I will get that information to Zola, and if you follow up with her, she can get you that response. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you all
Thank
great?
you.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.